So this morning, I'm listening to this podcast, and this lady was talking about how she was once in a situationship, we'll call it that. She was once in this. I'm so sorry. When I'm back in, maybe my lighting is gonna be better. Right now, this bathroom is all I got. So today, I was a bit triggered because I'm listening to this lady give this testimony about this experience that she's had with this guy once. So she met him before he was married. Then the brother goes ahead and gets married. And then eventually he comes back to her. You're the one, I really just made a mistake. And all that. And I was thinking, I should actually talk about this because there was a time when I wanted to, I don't know what that was. I don't know what it was, comrades. I don't know, was it a relationship? Was it a situationship? Whatever the hell the ship was. I'm very scared of like bright lips. So I'm trying to blend it with something else to see how it looks like. Anyways, I was in a position, I'm just gonna say it, I was in a position I wanted to have a baby, right? And so I chosen this amazing human being to have this baby with. And those were my plans. And that was on the journeys when I met God, reintroduced to God. And then God had other plans. So all my plans had to be paused. That's a whole different testimony for a different day. But this particular guy, I had chosen, and I was like, justifying that God, I like this guy, and I like this guy, and I like this guy. But one of the things that God told me in that particular journey, again, testimony for another day, was he showed me that this guy was not going to protect my heart the way that God intended a man to protect and guard a woman's heart, right? So that was it. The lesson on it's important for a man to guard your heart. He's supposed to guard, he's supposed to protect a woman's heart. Blank, period. That's a man's responsibility, right? Now, reverse to the podcast that I'm listening to. And then I was like getting mad, man. Like I was like getting mad. And then I was thinking to myself, I should make a video about it. But then I thought, but I don't really have experience to be making a lesson from this. And then boom, it jumped into my memory. The experience that I actually had. So many moons ago, I was dating this guy. Broke it off at one point. And years pass, right? And we continue being friends, like on and off. Like we'd talk, we'd check in, and then, we'll go silent every now and then. We'll come back like, how you doing? You good? Yeah, that's great. And so this brother comes back once, and, he was, like coming to repropose and, gauge a girl's interest. And when I was going with him, he was a good guy, right? So I was just like, yeah, he's one of the good ones. And so I was, chatting with this guy, and because we live in two different countries, we were having plans on visiting one another. So he was like, you should visit me. I'm going to put plans in place. I'm going to save up and buy you a plane ticket, and, you're definitely going to come and visit me. And the girl was like, yeah, sure, no problem, because I am not driving. I am not driving across Africa to go visit for Sanjay. So all of this was happening. And then, girlfriend, one day, anyways, one day Miguel gets a message on Facebook asking me, does my husband, titles, does my husband owe you anything? Like, why are you calling my husband? And I first saw the message and I was like, no, I think this person sent this message to the wrong person. So it's like, first of all, so who sent them? So I just clicked on the name of this person, and then she has the last name of the brother, right? But I didn't put the dots together. So before even responding, I was like, who is? Like, who husband am I chatting with? Like, I don't deal with husbands. Guys, I I've always respected the institute of marriage. Dude, I've always respected the institute of marriage. I don't know since when, my whole life. I don't mess with married people ever. That's just no, that was never my territory. So I was like offended a little bit. I was like, who is? Like, right? So I clicked on this person's link. My friend, yo, the whole wall of this person is covered with the wedding photos of the brother that I am planning on visiting and the sister girl. A whole married man. And I cannot tell you the amount of shock that I was shocked at. I have never been that so shocked in my entire life. I was like, what the, no. No, 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 no. I could see it's the brother, but I was still zooming in. I was still like, no, it cannot be true. No, it's not true. And mind you, had I maybe never asked this guy if he was married, it would have been like cool. But at one point, I remember we were having this conversation, and I know, he would always joke about like, yeah, when are you getting married and whatever. And I'd also like, you're not even married now. You're asking me when am I getting married? Like, when are you getting married, right? And so he's like, yeah, when I'm ready. And so this guy, I had literally asked him this question about when is he also getting married, and then he had brushed it off like, yeah, one day. But he was also saying like, yeah, I'm waiting to get married to you. The guy was most, flirting, and that's what I'm saying. The brother was most like gouging your girl's interest again, and a whole marriage. This guy got married. I had no idea that he was married, and then I was so shocked. I cannot even describe the emotions that was going through me. Then I even went back to the brother. I took one of those pictures with his wife and I sent it for him on WhatsApp because that's what we were communicating. And I was like, yeah, bro, like, why would you lie about this? Like, why would you lie about this? The brother blocks me. And so I have this pending message that I need to respond to in my Facebook messages. And then I just stay with that shock for a while. And then eventually I reach out to my mom. And I was like, Mama, do you remember this brother? And she's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, let me tell you what happened. And so I tell my mom what happens. And then my mom advises me. And then she says, and I'm like, yo, I don't even know what to do. And then my mom advises me. And then she tells me, you know what? Tell her the truth. Because you didn't know. And if you don't tell her the truth, she's always going to question it. And he's never going to tell her the truth, right? So just do her the courtesy as a woman and tell her the truth. Because as a married woman, I would have also wanted to know. And of course, you were not, trying to get involved with a married man, obviously. And so I got the courage and I went back to the lady and I explained to her, like, yo, I knew this guy, like this, we used to date, and we were truly trying to rekindle things. And I was also planning on visiting him. Like, that was the conversations that we were having. But to tell you the truth, I have mad respect for women. And from one woman to another, I would never, ever, had I known, have tried to mess around with your man, even if I was in love with him in the past, and even if I'd known him, right? So I just extended my apologies to this lady. And then she comes back to me, it's like, yeah, no, but we've been married since, and by that time, I think they've been married for like 3 years at that point. And then she's like, no, we got married, what. But he's saying that, you guys are not friends, and like he barely ever talks to you. And because I was like telling her, like, but we remain friends, right? And we would like communicate over the years on and off. That's technically what I was trying to explain to her. But then she was like, yeah, no, he's denying all of these things. And, I really just want to get to the bottom of it. The thing is, sometimes as women, we know the truth. But sometimes, man, do us the courtesy. Just bloody tell us the truth. Let it come out of your mouth. So the brother was denying it. Long story short, eventually I took a video call. Right? I'm sorry, darling, I can't take a call right now. I'm in the middle of a recording. So eventually I took this video call. And so here was this girl lying in bed with this guy. And so we had this conversation, and I was kind of like explaining it to him. And I was like, even telling him, bro, you know how it feels like. And you know me. Like, if you know me, you know how much I actually hate being lied to as well. And that's the exact same thing that your wife is going through right now. So you really just need to apologize. Just apologize. Just be truthful and apologize and like get it over with. Fine. And I told him, like, bro, and you owe me an apology. Like, you owe me an apology. You should know by now that I would never mess with a married man. And you try to drag me in without my knowledge? Like, how dare you? I didn't say all of these things, but I just told him he owed me an apology. So he apologizes to me. And then, of course, I tell them, like, yeah, you guys need to sort your things out. I was having a whole marriage counseling session with this couple. The position man will place you in. Fine. So that's the experience that I've had with a married man. But then after that incident, and me trying to sort things out with his wife and trying to let him be honest with his wife and stuff, he would still come back after that. And then he would still be like, you know what, I'm really sorry. I thought if I told you the truth, I was going to hurt you, because you were always the one. Like, you were always my one. Like, you were always the woman that I loved and still love. And honestly, I got into this marriage because I was pressured. Oh my God. And then the brother had a million excuses as to why he got married to this girl, and that I was still the one, and that I was the one that he loved. And oh my God. And he was hopefully waiting to tell me that he was married when I eventually got married, so that both of us would like start talking about the fact that we were married. And man, the books that the brother took out to give me quotes about the whys and the reason why he still wanted a friendship with me. And so I don't know if I was flattered, or if I was naive, or if I was stupid, but I still liked the brother, right? No love, I still really, really, really liked the brother, because to me, he was always one of the good ones, right? So today, when I was listening to this podcast, but before I get to the podcast, so at one point, I had to tell this guy that, you know what, it's fine if we are friends, but his was not just a friendship. His was a thing of being friends with me, but like still flirting. And there's something that makes me cringe when a married person flirts with me. It makes me feel dirty. Like it really just, it makes me feel dirty. And so at one point I was like, you know what, this has got to end. Even if you say, you're just friends and I really want to be friends with you, your intentions are not friendship. Your intentions with me are not friendship. And if your wife knew about the fact that we are still friends, like, dude, she's not going to be happy about that, clearly. And why would I want to put another woman through that stress as well, right? And so I really just decided to end this friendship, because I knew he never was going to end the friendship. He was never going to end the friendship with me. So I ended the friendship. And I blocked the person, right? I just like, cut communication. Now, this is now years down the line. I don't know what year that happened. And then I'm listening to this podcast, and I was mad. I was like, yo, you know what? This man who, listen, woman. And then I just got into this. And then I was like thinking to myself, like, what experience do you have? Want to talk about this? Of course. And then God reminded me of this. And so I think this is the place that I really want to tell women from, or teach women from, to guard their hearts. But your heart is yours to guard with God when you're single. But the minute a man, and when, I know my thoughts are always faster than my mouth, but the minute a man steps into your life with the intentions of, you know what, I want to court you, I want to marry you, it's important that we carry a spirit of discernment. And I always used to ask myself, God, what does that mean? What is discernment? But I used to pray for it. I was like, God, teach me discernment, because your word is supposed to teach us about discernment, and it's supposed to teach us about the intents of the hearts of man. All right? I know there's a scripture that says something like that. My Bible people can comment that if you remember that scripture. All right? The word of God will reveal the intentions of the hearts of people, right? Discernment. So in this journey of discernment, one of the things that I really want you to look out for is, like I said the other day, I was talking about look for God in everything. One of the things that you need to look out for in the people that claim that they love you, or in the people that claim that they want relationships with you, is this. Is he guarding your heart? Is he coming in to protect you? Now, woman, man, talk to me real nice, real smooth, real a week and I'm gone. I'm like, oh my god, this guy is so. A man should protect you from yourself. A man should protect you from your emotions. A man should never broach certain topics. You should never talk about certain things because he knows that if I talk about, if you're good looking and, like the babies would make and, a man should never even have to talk about marriage too soon, right? So that he doesn't blind you. He should never come in with the intention of blinding you with his charisma and his smooth talking. He should keep things so beautifully casual and godly that you get to see him. He should come with the intention of, I'm coming in to show her who I am, so that she's able to discern and she's able to see, is this something that she wants as well? Not for me to come and love bomb her and, blind her with beautiful words and actions that would not make her see me and will only see the actions that I'm doing. Does that make sense? Think of the concept of love bombing, right? A person comes and, because they know, I don't know why my nose itches. A person comes and then they're like, you know what, I want to do this for you, and then they're buying flowers and they're taking you on trips and they're doing this for you and they're doing that for you, and they're showing you so much love that you can barely see who they are beyond the things that they're offering, right? For me, it's even things like late night conversations. Like a person who's courting you should have a curfew. There should be a level, baby girl, there should be a level of accountability that this man comes with. There's a person that he should be spiritually accountable for. A person that he should be like, you know what, pastor, or this is my spiritual covering. I'm trying to court this girl, right? You need to hold me accountable that I don't cross particular boundaries. A man should have somebody that holds him accountable. A man should be in a position that he's like, you know what, I can't do certain things with this lady, just with me and her. I can't enter certain territories with this lady, just me and her. Like, there needs to be a level of accountability that a man comes with, so that when you are unable to, he is the one that guards and protects your heart. Man, I don't know how I can convey this, but when I was negotiating with God, when especially I wanted a baby, and I was negotiating with God about, my God, I love this brother, but God, like, he's God, he's like this and he's like that, and God was just like, he won't take care of your heart. And God showed me, like, he just pointed out certain things about this person that would have never drawn me closer to God. And God was like, I got something different for you. I got different plans for you. I got different intentions for you. This is not the one. And so when I trusted God with the process and I stepped away and I told God, you know what, God, I'm giving you my heart, so that when the time comes, you will give my heart to the person that will be responsible for guarding it for me on your behalf, right? In human form. I began to see the things that God was warning me about. And as I would have conversations with this, because this person was my friend, and as I would, oftentimes on and off have conversations with this person, I was like, I get it now. Like, I see why this person could not guard my heart. And even when men, for example, come, oh, my nose. Guys, I don't know what I'm allergic to. Seriously, is it the powder? Is it the fact? Is the... Sorry. But there was one guy, for example, he was a friend of mine, like, years ago, man. And then I think we reconnected on Facebook. He was like, oh, you know what, I've been looking for you, like, share your number. And so I shared my number, and, just hi, hello, and that was about it. And then one time I remember, he always views, like, my WhatsApp statuses and things like that. And then he's married now. He's married. And then he was like, at one point, like, he commented on one of my pictures. And then he was like, oh, hey, do you remember that one time, when we used to, he was actually like, oh, I miss those lips of yours and what. And immediately I started rebuking the guy. And I was like, If you want to disrespect your wife, you go do it in somebody else's inbox, not in mine, because I respect the institute of marriage. You will not come and disrespect your wife right here in my how dare you? And I so sorry, my tiny nose. And so the guy got all defensive. He's like, yeah, no, I was just trying to joke with you, and you brought my wife into all of this. And I was like, nigga, please. Gosh, probably should not have said this, but brother, please. Brother, please. I know, I can see disrespect a mile away. Huh? So it's so sad, honestly, that men have been given this great responsibility by God, because men ought to love their wives like Christ loved the church. Men, take that and break it down into a million pieces and have a revelation from every possible angle that exists on what that means. What does that mean? Like Christ loved the church. What does that mean? So if you're in relationships, situationships, talking ships, observe the actions of this person in as far as how they protect and guard your heart. What do they talk about? What are some of the issues that they touch on? Do they make your panties want to fall off? Do you have to yourself? No, seriously. Do they talk in such a way and charm you and flirt with you in such a way that your panties want to fall off all of a sudden, and you know what, you're all wet? Because if that really does happen, to what degree can you as a woman hold your purity in God? I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if all of this makes sense. But a man ought to protect your heart. A man ought to guard your heart for you, from yourself, as well as from himself. Like that's it. That's what he's supposed to do. And if he's not doing that in his language, in his action, in his behavior, flee. Or you know what? Take him. If you're especially if you're dating in a godly, take him to your spiritual covering. And while he's present, ask. We are currently in a courtship. And at one point, he mentioned this and this and this and this. Are these things that we are supposed to talk about? Men, you must hold each other accountable. But truly, pray for discernment. I don't even at this point want to say guard your heart. We ought to. But pray for discernment in such a way that God shows you, like, this is not right. Even if it's said in a nice way, even if it's said in a flirtatious way, it's not right. And if it's not right, I just want to say flee. God wird flee. Because if he can do that, let me end here.